Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, Skype is not gone after all.
yeah, it's all just I don't know. I mean, I got the alert saying it was going away. I mean, I don't know what. I mean, maybe
They're
it's
probably
just.
still leaving it out for the stragglers, but yeah, I try to get that Teams thing, but my Mac is so old that I can't upgrade to it. I can't even use the internet barely anymore. My Mac is so fucking out of it.
Well, why
Crazy.
don't you? How's school going?
Why don't you get a new one? Or how's school going?
I don't. Yeah, like I'm one to talk. I've got these pieces of crap still. So.
School is going good. I am on my next two classes. I've already had two classes before these ones. And the midterm, I got 100% in the previous two classes, as well as the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And in these two classes, I took the midterms and I didn't get 100%, but I still passed both of them pretty good, like 90 or above. And the finals are next week.
And you'll be done?
No. It's a bunch of like short classes, and it's a year-long program. So I've got pretty much till the end of the year. So, but I can start working probably now. Like I have my resume in with the school. There's a job fair this week, so I could get hired on because most of those guys take on people and they try to mold them into what they want. So people that are students. So I could probably get a job with that. And it looks like maybe Costco will call me back, but they are horrendously slow and they keep postponing it. So what can you do? In the meantime, I'm out of fucking work still. I'm dealing with unemployment, which is a huge pain in the ass. Have you ever had to do that?
Yeah, and it's one of those things that like I still get mad when I think about it because like when I needed it most, like they denied my claim or they said they denied it, right?
They denied what?
They denied that I could have it, right?
Why was that?
I think it was because I was let go or something,
Oh yeah, well I think it has to be that you have to be either fired or not fired but laid off or something, or maybe it is. I think if you got fired, you should be able to get it, right?
Yeah, you should. And I did get it, but I didn't know I got it. Like I was told by a bunch of reps there that I didn't get it.
Yeah, and their reps are
I
fucking
ended
idiots. When you call and talk to them, they tell you the wrong thing, and you go on that, and then they get pissed at you for doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, and then I realized, then I checked back, and it was like literally like maybe almost like a year or two ago or something like that. I can't remember. I was on like their website, and I was looking at my account, and it said I was approved for like $1,300 a week, because that's what I was making.
Holy shit! How'd you get that much?
Or it was something like that, or it's like $1,300 every 2 weeks.
I'm barely getting enough to cover my fucking house payment plus the HOA. Barely. I'm like, I theoretically can't even buy groceries and pay my other bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to.
No, but it was like one of those things that would have like, I don't know, like I wonder if I would have got it, if like would have changed the course of history for me. You know what I mean? I'd probably still be in Utah. You know what I like? So it makes me so mad when I think about it. It's like I'm just like, oh, you mother, which is just goes back to my whole thing about government is worthless, needs to be destroyed peacefully if possible. But I'm open to other ideas.
It ain't getting much better right now, I'll tell you that. But we won't get into politics. But yeah, my debacle this time, and it's funny because exactly 9 years ago, when Trump was in office and I was laid off from work, I was looking for work. I had to get unemployment. It was pretty easy, pretty straightforward. I wasn't making as much back then, so they gave me. Still, it was pretty small. I remember that.
Yeah, it's not, and it's not meant to be, I think, like really something you can live for a long time off of. I mean,
well, yeah, like that's the point, is to get off your ass and find a job. Number one with them, but number two is like, I mean, it's not realistic though. I mean, so this time around, what happened was I kept applying for jobs. I thought I was a shoo-in, like the liquor store. I applied there a couple of times. And I thought, okay, I worked in a restaurant. I know bars. I know liquor. I know all that shit. I know how to deal with the stings, like ID people. I didn't even get an interview. I got an interview like 2 out of 4 times I applied. And then I thought, okay, I aced it. And I think I told you about one of them. One of them was where they said, give me an example of something at work you did that was kind of a crappy situation. And how did you fix it? And I told him the story about how a guy with a MAGA hat came in, and I've got a bunch of teenage girls working for me, and they didn't like the guy, so they didn't give him great service. And I caught the food as it was going out, and I kind of let it go, and the guy gave us a bad review. And I used that as a kind of like an interview question when I interviewed newer employees. When I hired this one girl, and I don't know that apparently, and everybody who I told that story to was like, never, never, never talk about politics in a job interview. I'm like, it wasn't politics. It was a crappy situation that I fixed. You know, I'm like, what the fuck, man? Are we goddamn? So anyway, like I didn't get the liquor store jobs. I applied for another one. I thought for sure I'd get that, and I had like 3 people plus the guy who ran the liquor store around me in a semicircle questioning me. And I'm like, and they're not laughing at anything. I'm like being not annoying, but like I'm being jovial, you know, and being nice. Nothing, like zero response, nada. I'm like, God damn. So I didn't get that job. So then I waited and I thought, okay, maybe I should get employment. Then I'm like, no, like I'll try Harmon's. I tried Harmon's 4 times and I've worked there in the past. I could every time they put a job out. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here,
Because
listening
last time I got
intently.
into a big tirade like this, you were gone. I was just talking to myself. Well, anyways, so I apply at Harmon's and they have these assistant manager positions. I'm like, okay, I qualify for that. Totally, I got it. So I apply, and then they're like, oh, well, we're going to give this to people in house. I'm like, why are you advertising for it if you're going to do that? You just wasted my time. I sat here waiting and waiting for you to get back to me, and now you're like, oh, you can be in our fucking salad bar. Fuck you. You know, and that's a job, and maybe I should have taken it, but it just pissed me off because I applied for this higher paying one and I didn't get it because they just decided at the last minute they're going to give it to someone in house, and that's cool. That's a good reward for somebody in house, and that's kind of how it should be, I think. But on the other hand, it's like, why advertise it publicly and have people apply and interview them, and then just say no? So there is that. So when I caught, and then at the beginning, then I got Costco. It took Costco a long time to like respond. Like it took them 3 weeks to call me and say, "Hey, you're hired." I'm like, fuck, guys, I didn't think I got it. So then I went there, started working there. It was only temporary. I begged them to keep me, but they didn't do it. And they had to cut hours actually from all the people who worked there, seasonal, because it was so slow. I'm like, fuck, that's not looking good. So I get laid off with the Christmas help, and I decide, okay, at the beginning of the year, I'm going to apply for unemployment finally. So I do it. But if you go to their website, there's this little drop down menu where it says my case and my unemployment. If you pick my case, I'm thinking, well, that's my case, right? My case number, all that. And I just absentmindedly pick my case. And you go through this website, it's really hard to use. It barely ever works. It would always freeze up. And then like it would just stop working. And then I had to go back and redo it again and again. And it asked you all these weird questions where if you picked one answer, you couldn't go back and change it. And like, what the fuck is this? It turns out that I called in, and you have to get up early as fuck to call in because they're there from 7 to 12, and that's it. Or maybe 7 to 3 on the weekdays. You're on hold instantly for like an hour at least. There's no fucking 10 minutes. It's like fucking 30, 40, 50 minutes. You know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm on hold. I have to call in a couple of different times, and I'm already like anxiety ridden, depressed because I don't have any money. I'm burning through my money. I had a good bit of money saved up. I'm just sitting there alone, isolated every day. Like all the people who are going to hang out with me, no one fucking called me. No one fucking can hang out. No one got in touch. I'm just like by myself, like literally always. And I usually like that, but goddamn, man, for like 8 months, it's like, fuck, it's a little bit much. So anyway, I call in. They're like, oh, yeah, well, you just got to wait. I'm like, okay. So I wait. You know, after I figured out how to fill out what I thought I was filling out on that website. So then I write them up again. I got the chat. I'm like, hey, what's going on? Like, oh, you did my case. I'm like, yeah. Like, well, you're supposed to do my unemployment. I'm like, oh, I'm on the wrong site. And they're like, yeah, this is just for food stamps. I'm like, oh, fuck. because I kept getting turned down. I'm like, why am I getting turned down for unemployment? And the girl's like, oh, you're applying for food stamps, not unemployment. I'm like, well, shit. It doesn't really say what you're doing on there. It just asks you these questions like, how much did you make? Do you have a cell phone? What bills do you pay every month? I'm like, well, fuck. So then I figure out I did the wrong fucking thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to my unemployment and fill out that, and then I started getting unemployment. But then I'm told that I can go back and backdate from when I was laid off to get the back pay, which if I get that, it's $9,000. That's a lot of money based on what they're paying me now. Well, I apply for it, I get turned down. So you appeal. I'm like, I appeal. Okay, well, a judge is going to call you. So I get up at 8 in the fucking morning, actually 7, waiting for the judge to call because they can call whenever they want. He calls at like 11:30. I sat there all morning, dead ass tired, fighting, falling asleep for him to call. He calls me. I talked to him. I told him, I said, look, I thought I was getting the job. I went to Costco. I thought they were going to keep me. They didn't. Business was slow. Then I filed for unemployment. I went to the wrong site. Sorry, it was a mistake. It was really hard to use site. It wasn't clear. And then he said, I'll get you my decision in a week. And I didn't get it. I'm like, you motherfucker, really? So I can appeal it one more time. And that's where I'm at. I have to write him a letter. So I'm going to do that. And then other than that, now I have to wear a tie and get on Zoom and do a fake interview with some guy just to keep the unemployment that I'm getting, like the meager unemployment payments, the regular shit. I'm like, why do I got to jump through all these fucking hoops? And there's other people out there who take advantage of this shit and don't even try to get a job.
You know why? Because
Why?
government sucks and must be destroyed peacefully.
Is that why?
If necessary, if possible.
How are they differentiating between me and the scumbags? Because I had a girlfriend. One of my ex-girlfriends said her ex-husband used to do that. He would just get on unemployment and he just pretend to fill out 4 job applications every week and just live off of that. And that's all he did. And he played in the band. But it pisses me off because I was listening to one of our previous show that we did where you were talking about like work ethic and having to cover people who call in sick when they're not really sick. Like they call in before their day off and they have like all that time off. I'm like, why am I such a badass? And I go to work every day and I work my ass off for years and I can't even get a fucking decent unemployment settlement or a payment. It's fucking stupid.
Because I don't know, for some reason, we've encouraged and rewarded that kind of behavior. I don't know. Like I think about it sometimes, and I'm like, well, how do we change it? It's like a cultural thing, right?
I mean, are there really that many people out there taking advantage of that system? I am sure there's a lot.
Absolutely, yeah.
But they make you do shit every once in a while. Like they're making me dress up and do a Zoom meeting and wear a shirt and a tie and do a fake interview. And they're going to read my resume and I have to pretend like I'm interviewing for a job. How many fuckers are out there doing that are waking up at 2 o'clock, scratching their balls and getting high?
I don't know.
I mean, do they do that with everybody? Because for some reason they're acting like I'm this criminal who's trying to trick them. I'm like, no, I just want back pay because I didn't know they don't even tell you that you can get it on there. I just heard that from a friend of mine. She's a staffer at a temp agency. She's like, yeah, try and get back pay. I'm like, you can do that? And she's like, fuck yeah, you can do it. Go apply. I'm like, holy shit. They don't tell you that. I bet they have school assistance programs too that I don't know about. So anyway, yeah, that's where I'm at. Why did you even bring that up? I can't remember.
I think I asked you how school was going.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway, school's going good, and I'm doing well at school, and I have a chance to get a good job in HVAC, and it looks like Costco may or may not call me back because I've been in there several times to ask them. And my real ultimate goal is to keep both and try and do both because either one of those is a good job if you can stay there with it. So in the meantime, you know, someday I'm going to open up my own Slaughterhouse barbecue again. Who knows? But for right now, there's restaurants closing all over in Salt Lake. So people are going out of business.
You know why though, right?
Why is that?
Because government sucks and needs to be destroyed.
Shit.
You know how much red tape you got?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Medley Challenge with J.R. Torino, the Master Butcher, and Marc. Government sucks. Hanson. There he is. Tell us about the government, Marc. No, don't. We don't want to get political. Let's not do that this time.
Not political. Just say the government sucks.
Well, still, I don't want to. It'll lead one thing will lead to another, and we'll end up arguing
but
like the last two shows.
No, I mean it. Like the amount of like hoops and red tape and
it is
bullshit
bullshit.
you got to jump through to open up a restaurant is ridiculous.
But did you know that there's all kinds of aid programs, benefits, and services you can get? You just don't know they're there, and they don't tell you. You have to really dig deep and like find it. And that's how Dig Pearson
Shouldn't
started Earache Records. Is they had a program where you could do a work study, start your own business program over there. He just happened to do a death metal record label, which
mm,
they didn't have in mind over there in England, I'm sure, with that program. But he did it, and look at what happened. Yeah, he's fucking metal demigod now. So
yeah.
anyway, yeah, that would be great if that would happen. I've my label is all but fucking dead right now. I have not done anything. There are bands that from Asia that are writing to me like, bro, when can we do a CD? I'm like, I can't, dude. Can you do even like a few copies? I'm like, no, I can't. I'm literally broke, dude. I can't do anything. I can't even buy groceries. I might have to move in with my mom. You know, come on. I mean,
You
it's
won't
not
have to
quite
do
that
that,
bad
but
yet, but
yeah.
yeah, but some of the bands are willing to wait for me because they're just like, "You're a brother, man. You're like a true metal brother to us." I'm like, "Well, thank you, man, but I wish I could do more, but I cannot do a damn thing right now. Sorry." And so some of the bands are waiting, other ones are putting out like a minor release with another label to tide them over until I can do it, which is cool, but you know, they shouldn't have to do that, but what can I do?
Mm.
And in the meantime, I'm friends with Ace Frehley on Facebook, but I don't think it's really Ace Frehley because he instant messaged me the other night.
Yeah, you got catfished.
It's pretty funny because it's an Ace
Turns
Frehley
out, yeah, it
profile.
turns out it's actually Vinnie Vincent.
I was thinking it was funny because I was gonna write to him back and go, hey, is this actually Vinny? Like, what's going on? And but this Ace Frehley, like it was like his profile, like him, is what it looked like. He added me on Facebook. I'm like, okay, cool, you know. But and then I'm sitting there having a steak one night, and I get this message on Facebook Messenger like, "Hey, Tarina." I'm like, "Yeah." Like, is this Ace? And he's like, "Yeah, this is Ace." I'm like, "Come on, who is this really?" He's like, "No, this is Ace chatting with you." I'm like, "Get the fuck out of here." So I humor this guy for a few minutes. He's like, "What's your favorite song I've done recently? You like the new stuff?" I said, "Yeah, 30 Days in the Hole is cool. It's a cover, right?" So when you come into Salt Lake, he's like, I'm going to make that happen. And I'm like, come on, is this really Ace? He's like, yeah, this is Ace chatting with you. I'm like, whatever. And then he asked me if he could trust me with a password to his something, some such or other, like some chat website or something. I'm like, okay, this isn't Ace. So,
Yeah, it never is.
no, of course it's not. I mean, but it was kind of funny for a minute there. I'm like, this is Ace chatting with you because you never know with a guy like Ace. He's just kind of flippant like that he might actually do something. But then I would doubt it because how many billions of followers does he have on his Facebook and he's out playing shows and shit and he's going to be texting people on a Saturday night? Like, hey, bro,
Hey,
what's up? And
hey, JR.
yeah. Space Bear. Space Bear. Okay, now that
Yeah, that's
reminds
just when
me.
I was
And this is
like,
what
I thought Gene Simmons like, hey, Mark. Wait, what is it? I'm trying to do my Gene
what
Simmons.
is Gene
This is
Simmons from
Gene
Kiss?
Simmons. This is Gene Simmons of Kiss. For $12,000, you can be my roadie.
Okay, now first off, let's talk about that because I watched the Kiss A&E special on Hulu, and there's a lot of stuff that I'm just like, once again, like, come on. But Gene Simmons' solo tour was coming here, and it got canceled. Then it said it was coming here, and then it got canceled again. He was scheduled to play at Salt Air, playing out there. That's where fucking punk bands and gothic bands play, man. But paying him to be his roadie, like, what the fuck? 12 grand. I'm like, okay, you should pay me 12 grand to be your roadie, motherfucker. What is this?
I mean, I don't know. It just sucks that it was canceled. I hope I get my 12 grand back. That's all I know.
Oh shit, you paid?
No, I mean, but if I had FU money, I totally would. Absolutely. That would be blast, man. Hang out with Gene Simmons.
It would be a blast, but maybe it wouldn't. And why would you pay him to do that? That's bullshit. He should
Yeah,
pay
I
you.
don't.
He's rich. Why
I get
wouldn't
the
he
feeling
pay
you're
you?
not like. I get the feeling you're not like having to like really actually be a roadie. You probably hang out, you know.
I don't
Maybe
know. He might
maybe you get
actually
to
put you
carry
to the
his
task.
bass, like you get to hand him his bass on stage or something. You know, like that would be cool.
That would be cool, but not for paying him 12 grand. He should pay someone else, maybe not 12 grand, but pay someone to do that, like have a contest. That's where he gets it wrong. It's like, God damn, dude. And you know, there's people out there who will pay that, but come on, like that's like an ultimate stroke of his ego. I wouldn't pay that. And I think Gene's cool. I love Gene, but fuck that. He should pay
Yeah,
me.
but he's the
I'm the
type of
cool
person
motherfucker out of the two of us.
he's the type of person that will try it though. Like he's probably just like, I wonder if this will work,
Yeah, but look at that. It didn't work. And not only that, but he's alienated himself so bad by doing that and just whatever. Does he even have an album out?
I think.
Does he have a record out, or why is he touring? Just because, or does he have a record out?
He has a band, and like,
Well, I
let's
know
face
he's
it,
got
like
the
if he
band.
still wants to tour, once again, it's like, so Kiss,
The last record I thought he did was Asshole. That was way back when I had the Abyss. That was like 2005 or something, wasn't it? 20
funny,
years ago.
I actually listened to that like not too long ago, like a couple months ago. I was just like, huh. And there's actually, like, I don't like, I didn't like the Firestarter song when it was originally done.
Dumb.
But
from
there's
what
a couple
I recall,
of songs he's really Beatles-y, like
yeah, totally. That's what I thought that time.
He writes some really cool, like kind of almost McCartney-esque hooks.
Yeah. If you listen to his Kiss solo record, you hear that a lot, and all the stuff before Kiss, even before Wicked Lester that he did, is totally that's who he's into. That's his story. When he was at home eating cake, watching Ed Sullivan with his mom, he heard this noise. It turned out to be screaming girls for the Beatles, and he's like, "That's what I want to do," and that's what he did. But all of his stuff does sound totally Beatles-esque. And you expect it to be like God of Thunder, War Machine, all that kind of stuff, but it's not. Mm-hmm. So I got that album in at the Abyss, my record store, when I had it, and I listened to it. I'm like, this really isn't that good, I'm kind of like, eh.
Well, to me, it's almost like the Morbid Angel, what was it?
Illud.
Yeah, Illud, which is like
Illud, insane. You
like
never can say that album name right.
Or like half of it is like really good, and the other half is like, so, and I think there's even like a Bob Dylan song or something he co-wrote with Bob Dylan on it, which is
something like that, if I remember. And that doesn't mean anything to me because I am not a fan of Bob Dylan at all.
Oh, I don't like him either, but
to me, he's just some guy who's stoned that like mumbles shit, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, he's a genius poet." I'm like, okay. So yeah, whatever. That's why I don't like the 60s and 60s music. I'm just that vibe and that mentality. I'm just not into that.
And I get it.
Huh?
Like some of it's like, one of those things like.
Well, the tail end of it, like the Sabbath and Zeppelin when they first started out, were at the end of the 60s, and the Doors, and you also had some of the Beatles shit that was later that was kind of dark. But for the most part, like that Bob Dylan shit and Grateful Dead, I'm like, no, sorry.
I didn't realize, you don't realize how like brilliant and sophisticated like some of the Beach Boys stuff is.
Oh no, I've heard. I know that. I
would
know.
It is like kind of sophisticated as like any kind of Beatles song, like and I thought they were just a surf, dumb surf band, but no, they actually write some really
I wouldn't know what songs those would be, but I have heard that about the Beach Boys. Like I wouldn't know anything about it, but I've heard that. But yeah, that's why I don't like Black Sabbath. And everybody's always giving me shit because I cannot stand Black Sabbath. That's why I don't like them. Not because of one guy's ugly or Ozzy sings through his nostril or any of that. It's just that 60s vibe, especially on Master of Reality. I just can't get into it.
That hippie kind of stuff. And
I'm not dissing on them, saying they're a shitty band. They're obviously the godfathers of metal as we know it. Them and I think the Beatles and Led Zeppelin. And the Beatles simply with Helter Skelter. I've said that before, the song. But Led Zeppelin, and that was a huge influence on Kiss, was Led Zeppelin and Black Sabbath, especially Zeppelin. So Cream, Deep Purple, all that. Mm-hmm. Even Pink Floyd, some of their stuff was hard back then.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of have to like look at it in context of when it was made. So when the first Black Sabbath album comes out, which was that was Paranoid, was it? Or was it
that? It was the other one, wasn't it? With like
Sabbath,
the lake,
Sabbath,
the castle and the lake thing. Isn't that the first one?
Sabbath, is it self-titled? Like, I mean, this is.
Hold on, I got B&R metal pages up right here for this purpose. Let's put that in. Black Sabbath. What do we got? Come on, Internet. Yeah, that is the first album. The one I said, the self-titled. It has like the girl standing in front of the lake and the house in the background.
Okay, but like
actually,
if you think about it in context of when of the fact that it was like 1969, you know. It was like dark and scary, you know what I mean? Yeah, listening to it now, it's like it sounds like kind of almost hippie type music, you know, like kind of that just
Yeah, it
like
does. That's and that here's the thing. When you grow up at a time past that point,
mhm,
you can or can't appreciate it because you're used to what you grew up with. And in my case, that's Kiss.
mhm,
Sorry. And when I grew up, there was nothing else on the radio. You had maybe Boston,
mhm,
Foreigner, that stuff. But
mhm,
really, in the earlier 70s, you didn't have that. You had stuff like "Oh, What a Night" and the songs like that. Like it was
mhm,
just like pop and folk kind of stuff, like Dan
mhm,
Fogelberg and all that. And there was
mhm,
Kiss, who looked and sounded heavy as fuck and evil.
mhm,
Of course, I'm gonna love Kiss, and it wasn't even their makeup. My brother gave me the first two Kiss albums as a hand-me-down, and I was like, "These guys are fucking heavy."
mhm.
And they look cool, but it wasn't about the looks. But so I don't know, like when you grew up in the 70s, like you had disco on the radio and all that, and there was Kiss. And then, of
Mhm.
course, they did a disco song later. But, and
Which
I'd
is
heard
huge,
other
yeah.
stuff like The Doors, but, you know,
Yeah, you know, that's another one. Like I just like randomly popped up on you know, like you know how like on your you know you can just well you play a song right on your music streaming platform. You know,
music
just kind
streaming
of
platform? I don't know what you mean.
yeah.
You're not using Spotify, are you, you bastard?
No, I think I was using Amazon Music, but
Oh,
it the song "Tomorrow" by Kiss came on. I love that song, and
you know what's
that
funny is we have another episode
Unmasked
of the
was
show
like
where you said that.
yeah, Unmasked is kind of like I don't know like where that sits, you know, as far as like
That's another thing I wanted to talk to you about because I was reading Kiss Behind the Mask, which is a book about Kiss, but not the makeup Kiss, which is really rare. It's a book about Kiss in the 80s and 90s with no
uh,
makeup in their
which is
career.
my favorite Kiss, right?
I should send you that book. I'll send it to you in the mail so you can read it because it really talks about that one album, Carnival of Souls. They got so much shit for that album, but it kind of they didn't really get too much because right after that they did the reunion and then it was all about the reunion. But they got a lot of hard flack about that grunge album, Carnival of Souls.
Hmm.
But if you think about it, that's what Kiss has always done is they've experimented with whatever's popular at that time. They
Oh
did it
yeah,
on Dynasty with disco, then Unmasked right after
but
that was like a soft rock.
if you
It
listen
was
to
like
Carnival of Souls, it's still like they've never lost like their original sound. You know what I
no,
mean?
but it's got that grunge feel, but it's a good
Hmm.
heavy Kiss album. And Bruce Kulick really gets to shine through on there with some heavy guitar stuff, and he even sang on one
Yeah.
of the songs.
Hmm.
And they get a lot of shit for it. And even the band's kind of like, yeah. And I'm reading that book. I'm like, why are you guys? And the Elder, they diss the Elder really hard too. I'm like, these are all good albums. And like Unmasked is like Kiss does Ambrosia, 1980 soft rock.
It was yeah, it was like a power pop album. I like it. I really
That was
do
what
like
was
it.
going on here in America at that time. And unfortunately, they got into that, which it's a good album. But had they been looking ahead, they could have done Creatures of the Night 2 albums earlier and caught the heavy metal craze and not even have to take their makeup off. But unfortunately, what happened happened. But
Well, I mean, I was always kind of bugged. Like I read Paul Stanley's book, and he, you know, he dissed Animalize, you know, like kind of as like just like a subpar album.
well, that's because he had
And
to do everything and he was rushed to do it. And Gene wasn't really there. And he had like basically new guys in the band, Eric Carr and Mark St. John, who wasn't really
mm,
around for long. So
yeah, but I think that's actually what adds to that album's
plus, I think just the bad taste in his mouth of not having Gene there is what really set him off about that. But what can you
yeah,
do?
but as far as like musically, I think that pressure that he was under and everything adds like a sort of there's a real kind of angry there's like an urgency of that album, you know, like someone who's just kind of pissed, you know, which kind of explains, you know, I've had enough into the fire, you know, and under the gun. Like he was kind of literally under the gun, you know, like he had to put that album together himself pretty much.
But yeah, there was
It's,
that. And then you take into account also, it was in the 80s. Like we've talked about this on a previous show, which I was listening to. We were talking about Get All You Can Take, which is my favorite one, and yours off that record. in the 80s when that came out, I had just moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico. I didn't know anybody. I was all by myself, and my dad took me to the store and I bought that record. And it was Kiss talking to me personally, me. Hey, you got all what you can get, all you can take. Quit fucking around. Don't wait for your lucky break, because I didn't know anybody. I was alone. I was a Kiss fan. Everybody's making fun of Kiss because it was heavy metal then. It was either Twisted Sister, Motley Crue, or You're a Poser, you know. And in New Mexico, kids would beat the shit out of you. It was a fucking rough school that I went to. It was a big campus. High school there starts when you're a freshman, not like here when you're a sophomore. And like you're this little kid with all these big ass older kids, and you're like, "Hi, mister." But I'm like, "Fuck you. I like Kiss. You got a problem with that?" And yeah, people. I don't know. Kiss got me through it, and Get All You Can Take, especially at the chorus, which you didn't hear swearing too much back then. Quit
Yeah,
waiting
what
for your
fucking difference does it make?
What fucking difference does it make? Yeah. So that's a great album. But they seem to get so much shit for Carnival of Souls, and everybody's like, yeah, it was Gene. That was Gene. I'm like, it's a good album, man. It's there's not a bad song on that record. You don't have to like grunge to like it. It's a good, heavy, distorted, dark fucking album. It doesn't matter if they're fucking rich, happy rock stars. It's still cool. Like even Nirvana, they're not depressed. I mean, maybe they were, but I mean, they're fucking rich rock stars too. You know, and it's like for all that he was moaning and groaning about his life, it's like, well, you're doing what you love, right? You're getting paid for it. I know that's not what matters is the money, Kurt Cobain, but so a quick aside, do you believe that Courtney Love hired Il Duce from the Mentors to murder Kurt Cobain and make it look like a suicide? Do you believe that theory? Have you heard that theory?
No, I
You
mean,
haven't heard that theory?
no,
There are
I don't
kids who are in
care.
their teens, like Gen Z kids at my old bar at the restaurant, the barbecue, who would ask me about that. I'm like, how do you know about all these people? Like, oh, I just heard, saw it on the internet. So the story is Courtney Love, for whatever reason, paid Il Duce, the singer from the Mentors, the sex band, the sex core band, to murder Kurt Cobain and make it look like it was a suicide. It's like it's up there with Marilyn Manson taking out one of his ribs so he could suck his own dick, and Gene Simmons cut his tongue with the razor blade so he could have a long tongue, or it's a cow tongue, and Ozzy bit the head off a bat and drank the blood, and it's one of those pop culture things.
Yeah,
You haven't heard that, really?
no, I've never heard that. Like, I mean, I think he killed himself, and I think it's because, like, I think he had like imposter syndrome, which we all do to an extent, you know. Like, he got super famous playing like pretty mediocre music. Let's not kid ourselves, you know.
Yeah, I
And
can't bag on Nirvana. I mean, they had some good stuff. You don't think they were a good band?
no, not really. I mean,
Why
they are
not? I
what they
mean,
are. Like,
I'm
I
not a
guess for what it
fan of
is,
theirs.
like,
I don't own their records. Like I never bought a Nirvana record, but I mean, they had like even before the Nevermind album, the big one, even before that, they had some
we,
reasonably okay stuff as far as sub pop stuff goes.
I mean,
You don't think?
I mean, it's just not like,
I mean, it's no different than Soundgarden and all those bands. It kind of had the same grungy feel, and
yeah, but Soundgarden were like way better players, like than,
yeah, totally. But
you know. So, I mean, and I think also just, I think Courtney Love was probably pretty toxic, you know. And I don't
oh
even like,
yeah,
I'm not even saying that as like to be mean to her or
I think
anything.
all
I
those
think they were
people.
just young and dumb, you know, and
I think all
rich.
those people in that scene were toxic and they weren't ready for the fame they got. It was like if hardcore punk from the real in the 80s got popular, which it didn't, then that's what they got and they weren't ready for it. And then look at what they fucking what
Yeah, yeah,
happened to them.
yeah. It just imploded, you know. I mean, the hair metal scene, they were ready for it. That's what they wanted, you know.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately it didn't last too long for those guys though, which
no, no. I mean, that
so I
not
was so
hardly
yeah, I
any
don't know.
grunge bands around either.
I was actually it's funny because I think Killer Dwarves are playing here this weekend.
I love those guys.
I don't know much of their music. I just know Stand Tall.
Any
They had a video.
weapons?
Huh?
They have a song that I listen to quite a bit. It's called
Well, they're obscure. That's why
Starting
I'm
to
laughing.
Shine. Yeah, they're really
You
cool.
like them. You love them. I'm like, I don't know anything about them.
No, they're good.
They're
They're good. Kind of hair metal, hard rock. You know,
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
in that.
It's just like a regular heavy metal band to me, like a precursor to glam maybe. And it was funny because they were in
They've
the
been
movie
around
The
for a
Gate.
while.
Oh yeah, they've been around for a long time because there was a
Are they in
movie
the
called
gate?
well, The Gate. It's an old movie from the 80s.
Oh yeah, I love that movie.
It's notable because there's a kid in there. There's two kids. One of them's a little kid who's actually Deacon Frost from Blade when he's like 8 years old. And the other kid is like his friend who's in the metal. And his metal friend, you can see vintage Venom posters and shit in his room in this one
Yeah.
scene. He's got a Killer Dwarves poster in his room too. I'm like, Killer Dwarves, I know that band. And around that time, Killer Dwarves came out with a record, and there was a song or a video called Stand Tall. That's all I remember. I don't know
Yeah.
anything else about them. But in that movie, there was a band, a made up band called Sacrifix, which there's now a war metal band called Sacrifix, I think. But
Yeah.
they all got killed, and he figures out through his record album that they summon these demons by burying their dog in the backyard, how to fix it. And like, it's a crazy movie. It's really funny.
It's a
It
good
was,
show. Yeah, really good classic.
it's a great 80s horror movie, but it's also notable because the guy who plays Deacon Frost, the villain in Blade, is in that movie. And he's a little kid, you know, he's the hero of the movie. And his friend is like, he's like me. He's like this dirty metalhead kid that's all into like this crazy, obscure, evil shit. And his room's all like pentagrams and posters of metalheads. And if
Yeah,
you're a
I just
metalhead, you
remember
see
that
that
scene
movie.
where he's like he realizes that he opens up the gate of hell because he's like jamming out to that song, and then he kind of like throws the
Yeah, yeah.
blanket
He's
over his
got
head
his
like a
like bed
cloak
sheets wrapped
during
around
that.
his head like a cloak. He's like, the old gods came
Yeah,
down. He stops
and
like, holy
then it's
shit,
like, whoa.
we just did this. Yeah. It's a great movie. And like any movie like that, or like Trick or Treat, which came out around like a little bit before that one. When you look at that kid's bedroom in the movie and you're a metalhead, you're like, oh shit, look at that poster over there, Impaler. Oh fuck, Sabotage, Dungeons are calling over there, Venom, holy shit.
Oh yeah,
So it's fun just for that. But anyway, yeah, Killer Dwarves. But I got off topic. I was talking about that Kiss A&E documentary and I'm reading that book. I've read that book, Kiss Behind the Mask, and they bag on that album, the grunge album, but also they kind of diss Psycho Circus a lot. What do you think of that album?
never really listened to Psycho Circus.
Really? Have you heard it all the way through at all?
I don't think I've heard a single song off of it. That's the reunion album, right?
Yeah, that's when they got back together with Ace and Peter, and supposedly, that's what they did. But it's like Destroyer Part Two because Ace wasn't really there, Peter wasn't really there. It's all these other people. I think it's probably just Tommy Thayer and Eric Singer on the album. There's a couple of songs with Ace and Peter singing, but for the most part, it's not them. Like the original four playing on like hardly but one song, I think. And if you go back and listen to it, it's not really that great of an album. There's like a few songs. There's like one song that you can hear that's probably a throwaway from Carnival of Souls, the grunge album, because it has that feel. It's a Gene Simmons song. There's like a backwards guitar melody at the beginning, and there's like this heavy tuned down, like just choppy like groove, and it totally sounds like it could be off Carnival of Souls. And the rest of it's just like Paul Stanley, I sold my soul to rock and roll, like that kind of like party rock and roll warrior kind of thing. And there's an A song, Into the Void. There's a Peter song that's a ballad and all the obligatory shit that you would expect. And it's not really a great album, not very good at all. It's all like just fodder, and you know what I mean. It's just there's a few good songs, but overall it's kind of a letdown, really. But it's like Episode One Star Wars came out around the same time, and that was a letdown. Don't you so think?
What's that?
Uh-oh, did you
Jar
hang
Jar
up?
Binks? No.
Yeah, that was Jar Jar Binks. Now, on that note, really quickly, is Jar Jar Binks the guy who played him, Ahmed Best? He had
Um,
a lot of problems. Like he tried to kill himself because of the backlash of that character.
I mean, I'm not saying it was a good character, and I'm not really a Star Wars fan, but like I watched it and he wasn't as irritating as everybody made him out to be, if you ask me.
Yeah, he was. You have to like look at it in context of like that character and how silly and just stupid and un-Star Wars it was. But then coupled with all the other bad shit about Episode One, it was just horrible. But by episodes 2 and 3, Lucas figured out everybody hates him, so he appeared less and less. But if you watch the Clone Wars, the cartoon, even his character in there is written really well. And the Clone Wars is a really great Star Wars canon thing. It's way better than the prequels, and that's saying a lot because it's a cartoon. But Ahmed Best, who plays Jar Jar Binks, he's in, I think, The Mandalorian, probably. Like there's like a later season of that where he's like a Jedi Master or something, or it's one of some show. He kind of redeemed himself. He plays like a Jedi warrior who tried to save this kid and got killed. Like I think the Yoda baby or something. And he sacrificed himself. But anyway, so I was watching
I
this.
just think, I mean, he works for Star Wars. Now, if they threw like a Jar Jar Binks into Star Trek, that would piss me off probably because Star Trek is like the cool
Mr.
kid
Worf could
Star
kill
Wars.
Jar Jar Binks in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
are dishonorable. You I'm bad. So, anyways, I was watching Hulu and I watched that Kiss documentary again. Have you seen that?
No.
It's the A&E
No, dude,
network.
I haven't watched shit, man. I've been working too much.
Well, I'm the opposite. I've got nothing but time on my hands right now, even with
Oh,
school.
I know, dude. I know you got nothing but time because I hear you text me every goddamn 5 minutes. Are we gonna do this?
I love you, though. I miss you so much. Well, anyway, I was watching the A&E thing, and they were just kind of, it's the same old thing with them going off about how Ace wasn't really there, and Vinny, like kind of slit his own throat, so to speak, and I don't know. There was more stuff that like I kind of took away from it that I was going to ask you about, but I was just like they were talking about like Tommy Thayer and like the new Kiss and all of that. And
Yeah.
I don't, and it, just they're talking about Ace. Okay, that's actually what it was. It was Ace and Peter. And they were
Okay.
talking about how hard it was to have them back in the band. And I know that
Yeah.
all this time I've been like, fuck that, Ace and Peter all the way. But I get it. That those guys were like problem children, especially Peter, who had like this really horrible bad energy, and they were done with it. And he couldn't keep up. He couldn't play. And they had to do a business decision and get rid of him again. So I'm like, I understand that,
Yeah.
and same with Ace Frehley. They didn't fire him, but like there was a point where they didn't pay him very much when they came back because they were hired guns, and the guys were pissed off because like we're the original four. What are you talking about? And they're like, well, we've been doing this since day one. You guys had problems and left, and now you're back, and we're still doing it. So fuck you. And I don't know. I can see Paul and Gene's argument on a lot of that stuff, especially concerning Peter. I was just thinking about that because I know I've always been like totally against Paul and Gene a lot, but I kind of see it now. I just figured you'd appreciate that because you were always kind of like the middle ground guy. Well, you got to be in the band to appreciate it. And
Yeah. I'm trying to think of like, dude, I've been so out of like any kind of like music news or anything like that. Like I don't know what's going on.
actually, speaking of Kiss, I think Kiss, I'm hearing a rumor that they're getting back together at least just for a show or something, but not the original Kiss, but like the later Kiss.
Oh yeah, Tommy Thayer.
Yeah, and actually, that's another one. I was reading that book, Behind the Mask. What do you think about 90s Kiss? Do you think that they should have just gone back to that?
They should. I think like if they wanted to keep. Well, I don't know. Like, I think I'm kind of. If they wanted to keep making music,
they toured as the original Kiss, and that's why Ace and Peter got so burned out. And they're making money all they can from it left and right. Like they should have just done one reunion tour and then gone back to the unmakeup Kiss because they had a few good albums like Revenge and Carnival of Souls.
All of them, starting from Look It Up to Revenge, are badass albums, dude.
Well, the general, well, yeah, I don't think like Hot in the Shade and all of that, Crazy Nights, even they think those are weak, but
I don't think so. I think they're great albums.
well, of course you do, because that's your forte is that era of metal. You like the glammy, like produced, like the poppy stuff that's like really happy. Like most Kiss fans hate that, but they were saying it like like Revenge is like they finally hit the sweet spot because Revenge was it. They had their look down, they had their sound down. It was heavier, wasn't as produced. They looked more meaner, but it was Kiss. It was like they were back mentally. They were back into it. But then the reunion came up, and it was like, well, let's just finish this Carnival of Souls really quickly and fuck it. But in the book, they're saying like we should have kind of hung it up after the first reunion tour and not done a Psycho Circus tour, just done the album and then just gone back to Eric Singer and Bruce Kulick.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
I think Eric Singer needs to
I kind of
reform
agree with that
Badlands with
sentiment.
Jakey Lee.
Badlands? Maybe he
Jakey
is? Is
Lee.
that what he's doing? I don't know. Wait, what
No, I
happened?
think he should. I think that'd be
Jakey Lee, did
badass.
he die?
No.
He got shot though, right?
Yeah, he got shot, but he didn't
So
die.
he survived. He didn't get killed. I thought for some reason maybe I'm thinking of someone else that got killed. What famous rock guitarist got killed recently? He got shot. Was that Vivian Campbell or someone got like?
What?
Maybe not. Maybe I'm just thinking of Jakey Lee, but he didn't die.
No, he didn't. Yeah.
I
Yeah, he
thought
was
someone passed away recently too, though. It was like a guitar legend.
I'm trying to think. Someone did. I mean, Eddie, but that was like 2 years ago.
Eddie Van Halen. That was a while ago.
Yeah. Shit.
But speaking of famous people who have died, Blondie's drummer died yesterday. Clem Burke, one of my favorite drummers of all time. And I have said it on here before. That guy, along with Alan Meyer of Devo, who is also deceased now, Human Metronome. Those guys were so tight, so precise, and just did fills and stuff. And like they were incredible. Even as a little kid, I was like, wow, listen to that guy on the drums, man. And
right, they're in heaven taking lessons from Neil Peart.
You mean they're giving him lessons?
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
We're not
no,
going to go
I
into
couldn't
this
think of
again,
it.
are we?
I'm trying to think. Like, I thought I heard like there was someone who died recently, but I can't.
Yeah, there was. I can't remember who it was. I've got blabbermouth up, but I mean, they'll
I
never
do.
say
I do
it.
know. Warren DeMartini and Stephen Pearcy are kind of back together, going out on tour, which is cool.
No, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Who? No. Yeah, I can't remember. I don't remember. Marty Friedman? No, he's still alive. I don't know, man. I can't say. I don't remember, but I know somebody who's a guitar person passed away recently. But at any rate, I don't know. It just brought all this stuff with Kiss, and then having this Ace Frehley thing on my Facebook. I'm just like, have you listened to Ace's solo shit recently? Have you heard it?
No, dude.
I know we talked about it a while ago, like 30 Days in the Hole, the Humble Pie cover, and he's got some original material. It's really good. You would like it.
I know Mr. Big did a cover of 30 Days in the Hole. Still didn't like it. I don't know. I don't like that song. 30 Days in the Hole.
Well, the version that Ace does is pretty good because Ace, I think he keeps it fresh on his solo material because he'll do vocals, but then he'll have other people doing vocals too. So it's not just him. And he just does his own music and a few covers, like every album he does, and of course some Kiss covers. So it's just really good stuff.
I think Ace should do an album of Kiss covers from the albums he never played on. So like he could do like All Hell's Breaking Loose. Ace Frehley
You know what's
does
interesting
Under
about
the
that?
Gun.
When I saw Kiss on the farewell tour, it was the original four guys, but they played Heaven's on Fire, I Love It Loud, and Lick It Up. And it was Peter and Ace playing it with makeup. And like, that's kind of weird, you know? And
Yeah, that'd
Paul
be
Stanley
funny.
was like, we don't care, we're going to play it for you. So they played Heaven's on Fire. And Peter Criss did not do I Love It Loud justice whatsoever. You know, because those heavy ass drums, you know, he didn't come close to Eric Carr's like powerhouse drumming, but
That would be cool. You know what? Fuck, you just gave me a good idea.
What's that? You gonna do a Kiss cover?
Do a Kiss cover band, but do nothing but like non-makeup era Kiss.
I think there's a few bands like that out there that do that.
I would totally do that, you know? Or like a Black Sabbath cover band that does nothing but Tony Martin and Ronnie James Dio era stuff.
Actually, it's funny. Did you see there's a picture of Geezer Butler in Utah in the desert, like recently, that popped up on the internet? I forget where he was at. Like,
yeah, he lives in Utah now. You didn't know that?
He lives here?
No, I don't know. I don't think so.
No, there's literally a picture of Geezer Butler, and he's in someplace valley, some ghost valley or something
Goblin
like
Valley.
that. Huh?
Goblin Valley.
Not Goblin Valley. It was Ghost Canyon or Ghost something or other, Utah. It was out in the desert somewhere, but it was Geezer Butler. Just look it up on Google. You'll see it. But it's picture of the geese. He's in Utah in the desert. I just thought that was interesting. He's just here for the fuck of it, you know. But I believe, and actually, it's funny because there is Ace Frehley does do a Kiss song that's from the '90s, and there's conjecture about who wrote that song. But Ace says he wrote it, and they didn't ever use it. And then Kiss did that song on Hot in the Shade. It's called Hide Your Heart. Do you know that one?
Yeah.
It's the
wait, no, I was thinking
do hey 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 do do that song.
Yeah.
Kiss does that, and they have a video for it. It's from Hot in the Shade, but Ace Frehley also has that on one of his earlier solo albums after Kiss.
Huh.
So yeah, you should look that one up too. Yeah, I forget. Hide Your Heart. Yeah, that's the name of it.
Yeah.
You better hide your heart. Hey, hey, hey.
Yeah. I know that song. Yeah.
That's your era, buddy.
Yeah, but I don't like that song.
I can't fucking win with you. Why don't you like that song? Because 80s Kiss and your pussies?
There's a song off, what is it, off Hot in the Shade, that it's almost like a has the same vibe as Get All You Can Take. And it's called, I forgot what it's called. Hold on a sec. It's either off Hot in the Shade or Crazy Nights.
Oh, it wouldn't be on Crazy Nights. That's a horrible album.
No, I mean,
Hot in the Shade is where Gene kind of started to come back into the fold a little bit and write songs again. Was it Little Caesar?
No, it's
No, I know the one you mean. I can't remember the name of it. Hang on.
Rise to a Hydra. Okay, no, it's not off Hot in the Shade, so it must be off. Let's see. Hold on a sec. I gotta find. Oh, Kiss band. I'll show you. I'll tell you. It's a really good song, but it kind of has a very similar riff to as like Get All You Can Take, and I think it is off. It might even be off Carnival of Souls. Let's see, or Revenge. I think maybe it's off Revenge. Hold on.
Revenge had a lot of songs like that.
Track listing.
It Don't Mean Spit to Me.
No. Nope, it's not that. So let's look at Hot in the Shade. I just looked at that one. Let's see, Crazy Nights. Might have been off Asylum. Let me hold on. Track listing.
I don't think Asylum.
Right, My Way When Your Wall is gonna read all the good girls. Nope, it's not that one. So let's go to Asylum.
There's nothing anthemic on Asylum. That's all.
Oh, there is.
80s pop bullshit.
No. Hold on a sec. Let's go back to Revenge. I just want to know. Track listing. Unholy. Take It Off. Tough Love Spit. No. Her Chrome Thou Shalt Not. Every Time I Look at You. Paralyzed. I Just Want. God damn. It's not. Hold on. Maybe it is off Hot in the Shade. Let's go back. It might be Rise to It. Hold on.
I'm gonna rise to it. I'm really gonna do it. That one?
No.
I'm gonna rise.
Read My Body.
Read My Body?
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to read that.
No, it's let's see. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna play it. We won't get a copyright. I'll be like, hold on. Kiss. Oh, fucking shit. Okay, Kiss. Read My Body. Okay.
Read My Scars by Coroner.
Okay. Can you hear it?
I hear.
Yeah, it starts with drum beat.
Kind of.
Yeah. It's a cool riff, man. Really cool riff.
Oh, look at this.
What's that?
Tommy Thayer to join Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley for Kiss Unmasked Electric Show in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I mean they're never really done. It's like
Oh, I'm just saying his keyword is unmasked here, but they probably don't mean the album Unmasked, I'm guessing. But that would be interesting though if they actually went and played like a show of those songs, just for the hell of it. Have you watched Kiss Unplugged?
no, I don't like unplugged shit.
Oh, I know you don't, but I mean, I think they do like a song or two from Unmasked on there. I'm pretty sure they do a few of the Elders on there too that sound pretty good.
Yeah, no, they're because they're good songs,
They
I
are good
bet you,
songs.
and I think I maybe even mentioned. I think they don't talk about it a lot, but sometimes people would come in and play Gene Simmons bass parts, and I bet you anything. I could be wrong, but
He played Torpedo Girl, I'm telling you.
no,
You're
that's
not
not
giving
his
Gene
style,
credit,
dude.
man. As a bass player, Gene is really
No, he's a
good.
great bass player. That's just not his style, though.
You don't know that because that's the shit they did back then. He does that
Mm,
funky high end bass on Dynasty and on Unmasked.
mm,
Gene would play that shit. I'm pretty sure that he played that. I mean, you could be right because they do have session people now and then, but not usually for them. Gene and Paul are usually always there, and they might have someone else play something where they play along to it so they get what they're doing. But I'm pretty sure that's Gene. If you listen to his old stuff before Wicked Lester, you will hear a lot of crazy shit like that. He wasn't just always War Machine and God of Thunder.
I guess you're right. But there is a bass player. They had a session bass player play on Shandy off Unmasked.
How do you know that?
Because I'm looking at the personnel on Wikipedia. So Anton Fig played drums.
Well, I know that because Peter was already gone by then.
Bob Kulick played some guitar on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tom Harper, the only other bass credit is bass on Shandy.
I'm pretty sure it's Gene, but I mean, they do have session people, but like I said, Gene's a lot more like versatile musically than people give him credit for.
He's a great songwriter and good musician.
Kiss's music is like definitive like AC/DC. It's pretty methodical and they stick to one thing and that's what they do because it makes them money. And they've found that when they veer from that they fuck things up, like with the Elder and with Dynasty and with Carnival of Souls. So yeah, but well. In completely unrelated news, did you read that article I sent you about the cartridges?
No, I didn't. But
I
I
remember
mean,
I
so
sent
what?
it to you over email. It was there's a new thing going on with Earache Records, and they said it's the biggest rage over in Asia right now is cartridges. That's the new medium after CDs. And it looks like CDs are making a comeback too. I'm seeing a lot of that talk on the internet. But the cartridges, it's apparently the size of a floppy disk. And I guess it's like a plastic square, and I'm not sure what you do with it or how you use it, but I haven't really read too much about it. But it's a cartridge you plug in, like say a video game, and then you can put it on your phone, but it's got a limited time on your phone, which like for an hour or something. I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense, but that's kind of the gist I got of it. But I don't know. It's like some new way to get music to I guess people to buy music again. I don't know. It seems kind of gimmicky to me, but Earache's totally all about it. They got like all the old classics are on there now. Like you can buy a cartridge of Napalm Death, Scum, Carcass, Heartwork. It's interesting. It's worth a look. I mean, I sent you that over text, unless you've deleted my text, but
I don't delete. Just save them.
you don't delete.
I don't delete.
Wow, that could be like your new album. And you did like that Pain that I sent you, that video?
Pain.
Remember I sent you a video of Peter Tägtgren's Pain? It was like really like, what?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
heavy metal.
And then I checked
I was
everything
like, what
else
the
out, and it
fuck?
was like none of the other stuff was like really as cool as that one. So
Yeah, it's weird because he started off doing like, and maybe he's doing the Kiss thing where he's morphing with the times because heavy metal is so popular again. Because that was totally Judas Priest, 100%.
oh yeah.
And I've said before in Hypocrisy's music, I could hear the guitar tones and some of the vocals, Judas Priest kind of stuff. But Never so much as that song by Pain. That was crazy. That's why I sent it to you. I was like, he's got to hear this. He's gonna like this. And even the video is like, what the hell? And the drummer's destroying his drum set, and they're just totally doing the kind of like a Rat Motley Crue kind of thing. And
Yeah.
yeah. So what's
Well,
going on? Nothing
I don't
else?
know. I
You
probably
kept
need
in
to get
touch with that Daisy Cutter guy?
Daisy Cutter. Oh, I mean, I'm friends with him on Facebook, but yeah, that guy was a cool dude. I hope I run into him again. I don't know. He's back in
Why were they
Germany.
out there? Why was he in Wyoming?
Um, well, his wife is from like, I think like from Tennessee or something like that. I don't know how they met, but I think they were just like he was just
Does he
touring.
live here in the U.S. or do they live in Germany?
They live in Germany. She's a member
But
of,
you were
I think
saying they
she's the
want to
bass
move
player of
here.
the band. She's like the basically the almost like the bolt thrower thing. I think she's, if I'm not mistaken, she's the bass player,
Yeah,
a bolt cutter, bolt daisy cutter.
Daisy Cutter, not Bolt Cutter.
Well, because I was thinking of bolt thrower.
Bolt Cutter.
Daisy,
Hey, that could work too, man. Bolt Cutter, why not?
yeah, daisy cutter. Let me just make sure though. I don't want to like,
You
I don't
said
want to give
Daisy
her
Cutter.
credit if there's no, um,
Bolt Cutter. Maybe that's her band and he's Daisy Cutter.
yeah, daisy cutter band, death metal. See if I can find it. Daisy cutter. Here it is. Okay, so let's see. Accept. Where are they? About. Yeah, she's a bass player. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's like a bolt thrower situation. You got this kind of cool female bass player. But yeah, he's their husband and wife.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I would totally sign that band if I was in the
They're
position to
cool,
be
huh?
doing
They're
it.
like really good old school like death metal.
Yeah, it was like old Autopsy or Bolt Thrower, Terrorizer, that kind of
Mhm.
stuff.
Yeah,
Real death metal,
absolutely.
not that overproduced Florida bullshit.
Shut up. I
Ah,
mean,
shit.
like I talked to him because he was wearing like the first, like he was staying in the same hotel we were staying at. And the first day I kind of see him and he's wearing like a Jackson Guitars t-shirt. I'm like, man, I got to talk to this guy. And then the second day he's wearing like a Death t-shirt.
Oh
It was
man,
like,
that just did it for you right there, huh?
oh yeah. And I like walk out with my Morbid Angel t-shirt. I'm like, we need to, we need to talk. Yeah, super cool. And his wife was super cool.
So that reminds me, I was listening to others of our shows lately, and there's one show where you said you bought a Death shirt and it came in and it was like a size 3XL. What did you ever do with that?
I cut it up and I was gonna maybe just like tape the logo, like kind of try to make some kind of
Tablecloth?
yeah or whatever. But
Why
I
didn't you
think I
just
ended up
send it
just throwing
back,
it.
dude? Just say I bought this by mistake, wrong size. They'll change it for you. Fuck,
This
dude.
is a pain in the ass.
Well, so what? Like, so is having a 3X shirt that you can't wear. Fuck.
I don't know. I thought I'd figure out some kind of use for it,
So what did
but
you do? You cut it up and did what?
I think I ended up throwing it away when I moved. Just
Oh
like,
shit.
sorry.
That's terrible, man. You should have at least sent it to me. I would have given it to our friend Andy.
Is he a giant?
He's actually not that big, but he usually would get like a 2X, but even like he's lost weight lately, so but still it
I mean,
might fit.
I could have wore it as like a pajama shirt.
I probably could have sold it like in my mail order. I mean, there are some big mothers out there who like metal, so whatever.
I bought a new guitar.
Holy shit. Tell me all
Yeah,
about it.
it is a
Jackson,
no, close. It's a
do you have
Charvel.
a brand that you stick to?
No. So one of my guitars is an Ibanez. This one is a Charvel, and it's the Henrik Danach or Danage. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Henrik Danhag. He's
Hendrik Dodd Heimsgard.
Henrik what Danhag. Danhage. Um,
Danhage.
yeah,
Den
it's
Haag.
Den Haag. So it's a
Something.
signature model, and it is. He's the guitar player of a band called Evergrey. Have you
Okay,
heard of
that's
them?
like they're like a gothy kind of power goth.
Kind of a dark prog metal band. Like
Yeah.
they're definitely like in the prog metal uh, category for sure, but they're a little heavier, a little doomier, than like a Dream Theater or something like that, And the weird thing is like the guitar is like one of these. It's kind of like a new thing that they're doing is creating these distressed guitars, so it looks like it's just been beat to hell, right? But it's
Yeah.
brand new. And I've always kind of thought that was like cheating, because it's like, okay, like, this gives you the illusion that I've been, pouring my blood, sweat, and tears into this guitar, and it has the scars to prove it. So, it's like the paint job is all chipped and scratches. There's scratches all over the place in it. And my theory is that they're starting to make guitars like this to uh, sort of mitigate the returns from damages during shipping and handling. They're like, no, man, you bought your guitar, like that's how it's supposed to look, asshole. But when I was in Billings, Montana, a few months ago, taking a friend to like a Dodgers appointment, because out here in Lander, like if you have to see a specialist, you have to either go to Billings or Salt Lake. So as I dropped her off, at her appointment, and I just went for a walk downtown Billings, and there's a music store, and it was hanging up there, one of these models. I'm like, I'll try it out, dude, and it felt so good. Like it's just there's something about it, like it does feel like it feels like a guitar that's been just played. You know what I mean? Even though
So
it's brand new, it's got this
let me
warmth.
ask you about that because I try to teach myself guitar and I feel like I'm holding an alien artifact and I can't get into it. Is that because it's not the right one for me?
I mean that could be part of it.
I have
Um,
a Flying V. It's the Kerry King Flying V. I bought it from a dude that I used to work in a Mexican restaurant with. He had it and he sold it to me for like $300 or something. And I bought it and I've been trying to teach myself guitar for years. And I just,
you still have it?
yeah, it's in my closet right here. I got a bass guitar too from a dude at the barbecue as well. But the Kerry King Flying V, it
Uh-huh.
seems to fall out of tune really quickly and really bad. And it's just really uncomfortable to hold to play. And I don't love the design, but I mean, it's
Well,
a
the
guitar. But
flying V's are they're they're hard to play because like they're hard to practice with, right? They're fine to play like if you're strapping it on and standing up, but you can't sit down and play with those very easily
yeah, you can't. It's really
because it
awkward.
slides. Yeah, so that might be part of it, but it probably just needs a setup. Like a new set of strings, having the action adjusted. If the action is too high, and
Because
if it's falling out of tune.
my brother plays in like rock bands and stuff and does covers down in Georgia where he lives. And when he comes to visit, he'll like pick that thing up and like, God damn, you need to tune this thing. It sounds like shit. And he'll spend all this time tuning it, and then as soon as he leaves, it sounds like shit again. I'm like, what the fuck, you know?
No, I mean, but yeah, it's guitars need to be maintained. Um, so yeah, it probably needs a new set of strings, probably needs just a little bit of a setup on it. But I mean, those are good guitars, you know. Um,
Well, yeah, I don't know, but
but as far as like, once again, like I don't know how you get around the whole sitting down and practicing thing because you I mean, you can do it, it's just kind of awkward. That V shape is just not conducive to like sitting down and like running scales and stuff.
yeah, that's what I mean. And I've been trying to like self-teach myself, and it's not going well, over the years. And just like, and that's a big part of it's because it's just so awkward to hold that fucker and sit there, and you get tired of it, and you're like, all right, fuck it, do it later.
Well, and I think as far as being self-taught, like, I mean, I'm mostly self-taught, but I have taken lessons before. But I think you need to have someone just show you like the initial, like, here's a bar chord, here's how to chug. and that kind of gets the ball. You need like a little breakthrough to get the ball rolling.
I've
Just a
had people
little.
show me stuff. Like my brother will show me stuff, but he doesn't play metal. He doesn't know like power chords and stuff. He just said, "Okay, here, play this." Dun 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 dun. Dun. And like, or
Yeah.
he'll show me like Marshall Crenshaw, and he's into like 70s rock, which is cool, but that's not what I want to play. But still, I mean, I know you got to start somewhere, but I
Well,
can't
but
quite pick it up.
you need to like have just like enough that you can. Because I have a feeling you don't want to be a cover guy. You want to like kind of write your own riffs and shit,
Oh
right?
yeah, totally.
So you just kind of like somebody needs to show you stuff that's kind of more conducive to that. Like here's like here's a bar chord, right? 2 notes, maybe in tune. I'm out of tune. Here, I'll turn on the amp. Hold on.
Oh shit.
I'll show you. Hold on. Let me plug in real quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna get a treat tonight.
Plug in my Henrik Denage, a Denage à trois.
Your distressed guitar.
Yeah.
You
So
poser, you didn't scratch that up like that.
I know it does kind of make me feel like a poser, but once again, it just felt really good. So you'd be like, okay, so you do like just the most basic. Okay, there's your like E bar chord,
Yeah.
and then you go, all right. So then you go like, so you go, it's like show you something like, okay, that's super simple. It's just bar chords, 2 notes, and pedaling on the E, which is like your basic metal, You know what I mean? So you can do that, and then you can start going around. So what if I go? And it's just once again, you're not having to change like the fingerings or anything. You're just moving the same thing down the neck. So just kind of getting to that point where you're kind of moving around and like experimenting. Just seeing where it goes. That can actually sort of, I don't know, it just gets the ball rolling. You know what I mean?
Hell yeah. Oh hell yeah, there we go. Get all you can take, ladies and germs.
You know. So just something that can kind of like, so you can like almost mindlessly just sit down and just go, move chords around, and then you can kind of like experiment with like different things. But most metal is just the bar chord.
Yeah, I tried to learn some Napalm Death, and I was kind of surprised that everything I wanted to play was on the top string. I'm like, well, shit, don't they use any other strings? But I was playing like early Napalm Death, like
Yeah.
Scum. It was all on the top string. I'm like, okay, well.
Well, and that's almost, they're always just pedaling that top string.
And also, that's another reason why the guitars I have would be out of tune because I would like loosen the strings a lot.
Uh-huh.
So you get that grindcore
That
kind of
really,
sound. And my brother came and he's like, "What the hell is this?" And he started fixing. I'm like, "No, no, no." He's like, "Oh, you can't play like this." So he just starts tuning it all like perfectly. I'm like, "Oh man, like I don't play like."
I don't know that one.
Slayer.
I don't know that riff. I shouldn't have even tried.
That's your favorite riff from Slayer, though.
It
We've
is.
talked about that.
I know, dude. It's so evil.
I can't believe you think that sounds evil. I don't get where you think that sounds evil. It just sounds like more plucky to me. But okay, whatever.
Or how's this? Hold on. See if you can recognize this. Okay. I'm actually tuned down a half step, but
What was that?
Here we go. You don't know that song? Still the Night, like Whitesnake.
Oh yeah, that's why I don't know it, because I don't listen to that band.
I'm out of tune. Shit. Fuck.
Oh man, you need to like brush up, pal.
Well, this guitar has what's called a Floyd Rose on it, and I'm trying to get used to it. It's a tremolo. Shit. It's way out of tune. Oh well, fuck it. I'll try it later. Whatever.
Oh, hell
Whatever.
yeah.
What?
I said, hell yeah. Dustin Mitchell's out there right now going, man, we need to have him back in category 5.
Oh, they wouldn't have me back. We left on such bad terms.
You
No,
did?
we didn't. No, not really. No, we didn't. I haven't heard. They just dropped a new song, so everyone should check it out. I haven't heard it yet, though. I haven't really had time to like check it out. But like they just put a new album out. They're putting a new album out. That's what I'm trying to say. Category 5. Check them out. All both of
Category
you.
5.
Whoever's the 2 people who are listening.
I supposedly got an email from a guy that I've never heard of the other day, but I don't know if that's a spam account or not. It looks like it. Doesn't look like anyone metal. Ever since that Ace Frehley thing, I've got like all kinds of phishing accounts now trying to add me as a friend on Facebook. I wonder if that's connected.
Do you know this song?
What song? Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
We have a reason.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Lack of. That's my favorite song on that album.
Oh, the lack of communication.
Yeah, that was when I was a kid and I bought
Oh,
that
dude,
record.
that riff still. That's kind of the interesting thing about music. I mean, as much as I've gotten into like technical music and like jazz fusion and everything, that stupid riff is like I could teach you that riff and you can learn to play it like in 10 minutes. And it still like just sounds so cool.
What's also, it was kind of fast for that time back then, and also just the way the band does the backup vocals, the lack of like that. I always thought that was
Yeah.
cool as
And
hell.
I always liked how it starts, like kind of with the noises in the studio. Like, all right, here we go. 1,
Yep.
2, you know. Yeah, it's a great song. Whatever.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, dude, I gotta probably get to sleep.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
You're
gotta
gonna disappoint both your listeners.
always.
All right, pal. Well, and we're
Well,
still going to
Skype still
Toto. Is
works.
that set?
When is that again? August, right?
It's like August 29th or something like that, if I remember. So
Yeah, I'll get those dates off.
I got an idea too. We need to make a big sign. Me and you'll hold up and it'll say Luca Thor, and we'll have a picture of Thor, but Steve Lukather with Thor's helmet. How about that?
Yeah.
And he'll fucking
Yes.
know us from forever after that.
Or maybe it could be like Luca Tor. It'll be a picture of Skeletor playing Steve Luke's.
Oh shit, that's a good idea too. We'll do
Or it could
both.
be,
I'll hold up one and you hold up one. All right, pal. Well, looks like you're gonna get the bed and I'm gonna go to the gym.
do they have
You know that
a
one?
cold plunge? Have you ever done a cold plunge?
A what?
A cold plunge.
Cold plunge. No.
It's like it's like a tub that, is like filled with ice cold water that after your workout you dip into. It's supposed to be really good for you, but
Never heard of it. No, I don't see why that would be good for you, but okay. No, I haven't.
it's good for you because like it helps with like inflammation and vascular sort of thing. Like, that shock, opens up all your like capillaries and things like that.
So that you're spewing blood everywhere?
No, just circulation. It's like helps your circulation.
Don't know. Never heard of it. But yeah, EOS is where I've been going. I also had a membership at Planet Fitness, which is kind of a lame gym, but it used to be EOS was so crowded I couldn't even get in until like after midnight. But that's kind of gone down a little bit now, so I can get rid of Planet Fitness. So yeah, there you go.
So,
Or summer is coming and I can start riding my bike again because it's actually really warm here now. It's like 70 degrees. So
yeah, same here.
hell yeah.
All right, man.
All right, dude. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Keep watching the news. We'll have another show to do soon, probably. Maybe.
All right. Sounds
Possibly.
good.
Okay, we'll see you, buddy. I'm gonna
All right,
stop
brother.
recording.